excited to see how this is going to play out in the top 8 because they've been consistent so far. That's why they're here in the winner's bracket. But we've seen some of the action, and it looks like we're actually just diving right into it. We're wasting no time.
Going right into it, Cosolix and Rexehh, of course, having a lot of history and platformers, being an incredible duo here so far today, making a deep run, getting through on the side where we had an original 3 seed, and after a couple upsets, able to take that over. But Nakat and Void, 4th seed of the tournament, but a little thing of note is that they were #1 on the ladder for a very long time, using a team nobody else is running. The only Wonder Woman still here with that Tom and Jerry.
And Nakat's first Multiversus tournament here too. And the Tom and Jerry being the only one here in this top 8 from Void, we've seen the amount of impact this duo has in terms of synergy and in terms of the individual characters and how well they work with each other. That Jerry just also doing so much of that extra damage there you have to worry about, because that does rack up while Nakat takes the front reign of the team.
Exactly, you have so much damage control, and if you ever see Jerry hiding on the middle as a teammate, you could go ahead and pick him up and use that active hitbox every time Jerry puts on a move. But one of the hardest people to edge guard in the game is Void, and you're gonna get that downer instantly to get rid of that life.
I want to know how many lives Void has been able to take with these pans in general, these down air spikes, but you have to worry about a nice DI coming in, the stall with the down special over and over again to be able to make it back.
That mattered so much because all the resources are gone. He got hit out of the jump because Nakat got out there to help body block. It allowed him to get in, but the up air is gonna finally find the mark on Nakat. Did not have the armor set up, but instantly coming back in to refresh that armor, and they get another life instantly.
And the armor immediately coming right after just losing that first life right there too, and love to see that too, because you have the automatic reset too from the debuffs in general.
And speaking of debuffs, because you're Wonder Woman, you have the ability to cleanse them away. So whenever you use that shield, it stops all of that ice debuff that the blue team has put on. But the juggles coming in, multiple downers, trash cans coming up top. You gotta avoid that shield as well. Easy to find those knockouts, and you have to watch out, of course, for the lasso of truth, as Nakat spaces that very well.
Insane here. You can see though with the Bugs Bunny and Velma, they have not been able to really control that space that they were looking for, especially with some of those tunnels that you have to worry about, because look at the way that Jerry himself is even trying to combo up that forward air coming in too. You saw that attempt from the side, and then you see the safe now coming down. They are now finally able to reverse the situation, but a high recovery into the down air spike. That's what we were talking about before. I want to know how many lives Void has been able to claim that way.
Exactly, Vicky. It's been insane. And Cosolix and Rexehh trying to get things going. You have the mobility attached to Bugs to be able to sneak in and trying to do that right now as they look for the double up because of that shield, though, taking a hit. Working up for the side special, going for the side air, getting away. Nakat gonna get in the middle of it all, but the Megaphone finally finds the mark on the Void.
Megaphone having them in their trajectory, perfectly timed right there too. Nice little stall from Cosolix and Rexehh over to the side here, but it's Nakat and Void that have that match point that you have to worry about. It's all up to Nakat actually. But they couldn't be able to actually land right there. It could be so difficult, especially with that Wonder Woman up special there too that controls some of that extra space.
It's so hilarious watching that up special come in. Go get him, little buddy, just sending that rocket right up attached to Jerry. He didn't ask to be there. He did not want to be on it, but he gets sent up, of course, and all the options covered like you just alluded to. You get around the rocket. Guess what? Here's Nakat with the up special. Oh crap, I gotta dodge down. Who's still there? Jerry. There was so much covered, and he already chose to recover high. That revealed a lot of resources were gone, and that puts you in a very, very scary spot that Rexehh wasn't able to go help Remedy to get Cosolix away from that.
Being able to reset your utility in general on top of the Wonder Woman shield too is absolutely huge there to be able to actually overextend further and try to go for more conversions if you possibly can get there. You know, Jerry may not have wanted to be strapped up to that rocket, but he had no choice, unfortunately, and neither did this team. So now we're going to get set up going into game number 2. But I really like the dynamic between the Wonder Woman and the Tom and Jerry Jerry essentially being that third player for that team.
Exactly, and we're seeing a perk switch up. So it's going to be a perk counter pick from the blue team. They're going to double up on the projectile block perk because Jerry and all of the nonsense that can happen with Tom sending out all the rackets can just constantly hit you. So you need a way to answer that. And one of the ways you can answer, remember, you don't have to always change your character. You have the perks available to beat the matchups. It's not going to be as easy, though, because something we've seen Void do quite often when people do this, it's just start getting way more aggressive. And he will start running up with the upcharge, get those cancels, and you will be very surprised by how many times he lands that down air string in center.
And you know exactly what they're trying to cover themselves with when it comes to the perk system and knowing what they want to be able to look out for more often, especially if it comes to protecting yourself from some of these projectiles that we've been seeing from the Tom and Jerry. That's kind of the cue for Void to know, all right, well, if you're going to be able to try to avoid this, well, we're going to see the pressure that I'm able to bring on with the pan off stage. We've seen those pans hits. We've seen those down airs actually land. But the consistency with the way that he's able to micro move on top of them, it's a huge hitbox, honestly.
Exactly, as we continue, as that zoom in showed here with Multiversus top 8. Game number 1 going to Nakat and Void, and already switching up to Trophy's Edge. A lot of room to work with. Vicky, we've seen so many people, especially the Bugs development teams, counterpick to the stage.
Let's highlight that sweet spot, though, from the lasso being on that perk set here for Nakat. That was a little sneaky from the gates, actually, trying to put in some of that extra damage. The tunnel has been putting in, though, and with the wards actually sneaking through, you have to worry about that coming off screen. Sometimes you can miss it. Oh, he just followed up with that!
You cannot get away from Nakat. Sometimes he's so good at pushing advantage in center stage. You have the up airs and the up shield that forces you to have to back off. The recovery is so good, and they already strike first, even with 105. Remember, Wonder Woman being a tank can get that shield up and help them survive a bit longer. He just taunted to try and catch him with a down air. I see Nakat is feeling himself right now.
He did that earlier on in the bracket there too. For top 16, he wants to go in for another attempt, but doesn't want to overextend at the same time.
Oh!
Really risky because you're tossing Jerry out to do the dirty work for you.
What game are we watching right now? This man's accuracy is insane! As he gets another one off stage, they click away all the resources, smacks away the safe with the frying pan too. Void has been impossible to edge guard, and they are up 3 lives to 1 currently in winter semis.
I do not
none, excuse me.
It's just crazy to see how much impact Void has had in the air, not just with these spikes, but even when it comes to retaliating and falling immediately after Nakat.
And even with these projectile block perks, Vicky, you finally find one right there, and that lasted forever, but what did Void do at the end? Just wait, and then he started swinging. So you have to find a way around that, and one way to do that is to get in with Bugs. As we see him try to do that right now, the Nair is not going to be enough to line anything up, and still no knockout on the Void.
I like the way of Rexehh and actually Cosolix being able to use that tunnel to get right back into reposition and get safely away from Nakat and Void right there, especially with the fact that they are currently sitting at match point for this game alone. The save coming down in, you see Nakat actually shifting a lot of that focus to help out Void.
I like how you pointed it out too. Rexehh has been playing Bugs since the very beginning and has a lot of good mobility options with them. He goes out and finds it down there. They still can do this, but it's not. That's a whole lie. I lied to you. They can't do it anymore because 2 game snub are now in favor of Nakat and Void with another incredible position on the projectile. Continuing here in top 8, the crowd's still here with us this whole time. This is the first determination to get into winners finals.
I love how Nakat, every time Nakat loses a life, he comes back down. It's always immediately with a lasso of truth. Gonna slap up the competition a little bit with that lasso. But coming down in, I like the way that Cosolix and Rexehh actually were able to really follow up each other. But what are we
wait a
going on here?
minute. Wait a minute. Cosolix said this to me before. And okay, so this is the original main from Cosolix. That Tasmanian Devil line of being the only one is no longer true. The original main of Cosolix is coming out here. We're going to see the switch off the Velma into the Taz.
What could this bring here for this team to make some of these changes? You saw that Velma was not really able to have that impact other than the repositioning from the Bugs Bunny tunnel, but the words weren't really having the impact that they wanted to at least control the space, because you saw how aggressive Void was able to get off stage and the words did not hurt him.
So there's an exchange that happens here. You lose out on some recovery. Even though Velma didn't have a lot of great recovery, Taz does not have the best ability to make it back. So Void is going to be going out there, and he's already doing it anyway. So in exchange, you get access to better scramble options. You were getting crowded by armor a lot, and you were getting kind of overwhelmed by down airs from the 2 of them a lot. Taz helps that to break up. It stops you. You don't want to go in for those tornadoes. You don't want to go in when they have the pile up. It's going to be on the Nakat and Void to hunt down that cooldown. When they see it's gone, rush. And I think that also, it kind of leads me to believe that we're going to see a smaller stage, maybe something along the lines, maybe Batcave finally shows back up, maybe we make another trip to Scooby's Mansion. It entirely depends right now on the counterpicks, of course, from Nakat and Void when we get to that spot.
Let's see how that's going to work out here for them too. I just really like the way that Nakat and Void have been able to control so much of that stage, but some quick adaptation from Rexehh and Cosolix. And this is post-patch nerf as well. That is something important to know. And like you were saying before, we're going on to a smaller stage. Ajax, I see you out here. I see you, the prophet, understanding what we got on our hands. It's about that stage control that's been a problem. And now with the change-up, I'm expecting this to really work out better for Rexehh and Cosolix.
Going to Batcave is basically saying, I'm going to hold forward and I'm going to do it well. Exactly what Taz does, and get all the volleys off the side. But something that does become more viable for the red team. We already saw how Nakat was able to get a knockout off the top pretty easily. You're able to get one, it make them very easy here with those up air strings into that shield.
Oh, the cancel out of the tornado too to just control the left side of the stage real quick, but he's got to help out Rexehh at the same time. Yeah, he's got that tunnel if he wants to actually disengage when he does have it here, but it's not going to really be able to be put out because you still have Nakat and Void, not just with that shield to help cleanse too, but it's the fact that they've been able to control one opponent at the same time. But the first life already claimed by Rexehh and Cosolix.
Amazing job from Cosolix to force Nakat to have to jump a bunch, already using the pile-up to force him to go into disguise, and then immediately covered by Rexehh at the end of that. Now, even though it doesn't seem like they have zoning capabilities, remember earlier that Courage was able to get that knockout with the apple off stage. That can happen here as well if either one of them are not paying attention.
Gotta snipe that apple sometimes real quick there too. We also have to worry about the Jerry that's gonna be able to put in some of that extra pressure too. I like being able to go onto the other side. You have to worry about that save sometimes too. But so quick and very volatile in general with the changeup that we're seeing so far. But the survivability for how long? Rexehh, the stall real quick, knowing that's exactly what Nakat wanted to go first, Mike.
I have absolutely no idea how Cosolix got away from that, because afterwards you had to watch out for the tennis ball too coming in, but the red team has started to slow it down, and they answer back. The down air finds the mark off the stage, and they get already a lot of damage onto Bugs.
Talk about the damage itself, actually. Try to throw out the lasso at the same time, tries to get that sweet spot a little bit, but the follows from these up specials from Nakat, trying to get that follow from Void after swinging it right in his direction.
And Nakat trying to jump in with these nairs quite a bit to roll cancel into a dash jump, a down air like that again, so he can find the big combo starters. They haven't been lining up as well. You gotta respect that move though. Don't get in the middle of that. That sent you very far.
Oh, tried to actually use the lasso to help him out. You see the toss-up though, sending out some of these balls with the tennis racket too. In general, he is actually able to live for so long, but the damage output from Nakat has been insane. That's the tank that we see from the Wonder Woman as he jumps right above him. That could have been an upper attempt right there too.
Yeah, Rexehh somehow getting out of that situation, trying to get back down, not gonna get away from the shield though. 3 stocks up to 2, 3 lives in favor of 2 right now. Yeah, and you still have a good chance to get back in though. Not anymore, because winners semis, the first team to make it to winners finals is Nakat and Void.
What's insane here with Nakat and Void now is moving on to winners finals. I did see Void put out a tweet saying, you know, I don't think I've been wrong out once in day number 1. And now bringing in this energy, going into this top 8.